I was 22 when I got that tattoo.
22?
But I think that was just making one of my birthmarks visible. So it dates back earlier than that, you know. I've been playing guitar since I was 8 or 9 years old, and I think that's a result of my interest in music. I was growing up with lots of rock and roll music around me, and I discovered hard rock and heavy metal at a very early age. I think what we tried to do in the beginning of the 90s when we had just formed Dissection was to, you know, step further into, you know, exploring dark music. Before I went into prison, the band was on the verge of breaking up. We actually broke up unofficially, and I was putting a new lineup together. It was a temporary setback, but for me personally, it was always just a matter of time until Dissection would be back, you know. There was lots of, different opinions within the band about what we were doing, and I always wanted to put emphasis on the satanic concept, as I see that's the reason why I'm playing. That's the reason why I'm writing lyrics. You know, that's the reason why I'm doing Dissection. And obviously, that was not an opinion that was shared within the band by all members at that time, and there were lots of things going on around, and I think a lot of turbulence, I think lots of personal differences, and also lots of outside influences, and also a lot of I think there was lots of hell raising going on at the time, and some of us did not appreciate what was going on, and I think for me, you know, my lifestyle was always about breaking boundaries and reaching beyond any normal level of existence. So I think at this particular time, there was obviously, a lot of breaking of boundaries. When you start out as a band, when you're very young, I think maybe not everybody really understand what you mean with it, and they maybe think they are into it as an, artistic form or, an expression. But when you go deeper into it, some people realize that this is gone way too far, and that's where the roads go different ways. Some people are prepared to, step into the unknown and to, explore the dark for real. The goal was always to look for some kind of answer, and I think that's the drive that's been, pushing me forward. You walk on your own road in life, and you take things as they come, and you experience certain things, and then you go further, And I think it was just not, at one particular time that it was one crossroad where, everything was changed and, people went different ways. I think there was a process that, took place all the time, and the music has been a way for me to do this, exploration, or to walk on this path. And I think every single step is, maybe equally important. I don't know. Writing lyrics, thinking about these subjects, expressing yourself with music, and also by digging deeper into what lies beyond just the surface. It's about getting to know yourself, I think. There are some things that interests you or that, you know, attracts you or whatever, and you have this need to, you know, find out about it. And I think that's the drive that's been, you know, the main reason why I've been doing Dissection, because I could, you know, have an outlet for all this. It's not so much about expressing beliefs as about expressing yourself, and I think that's a part of it, you know. And certain personal convictions always shine through. At the time that I was sentenced to 10 years in prison, I had been serving 8 months in custody already, and I was already sentenced to 8 years. I actually got 2 more years, you know. I don't think that I looked so rational about things when I went into prison, because the whole thing was very overwhelming in every way. And I think I just took it day by day as it came, you know. And it was a new situation for me in every way. So it was not just that I could, you know, just from one day to another, you know, sit down and say, okay, now let's do this here, and, you know, now I will have time for this or that. I was just totally overwhelmed by the situation, and every step into that was a new experience for me, I think, which I learned from, definitely. You realize who your real friends are, and I think that's a really valuable experience. And I think that's something that, you know, I couldn't be more thankful for that, actually. And I think as I got used to the situation, or got more acquainted with the environment in prison, then I would more and more find some kind of, I wouldn't say peace with the situation, but I would find some kind of acceptance about the fact that I had to serve these years. And the musical process of writing and composing music in prison, that was actually something that was going on from day one, because I was already having songs in the process when I was arrested. So all this material was spinning in my head, and even though I was sitting in isolation, I mean, I was thinking about all this material and, you know, working on the stuff. So I think there was never any I never had a break from that. I just continued, you know, in that way that I was that I had the possibility. So later I would have the possibility to use an acoustic guitar, and some years later I got even my electric guitar into the prison. So that helped a lot, of course, because then you could work more directly with the, you know, songwriting. But during all these years, I mean, all the songs from the new album Re and Chaos was manifesting, you know. It's material from a very from a long it's dating from a long time back, you know. But it's all been developed, and, you know, not until we finally recorded it, it was finished, you know. It was always worked on, you know, especially when we took it to a situation where we started to rehearse the material with the new lineup, and everybody put their own spirit into it, and you know, took the music to a higher level. So for me it was an eye-opener in many ways, because I was getting the chance to see my own life from a different perspective, and to get some kind of restart, or what do you say. And I'm not talking about being adapted to society or anything like that, because that's the last thing that would ever happen to me. But I'm talking about getting some kind of distance and a break to think about what I really want to do. And I think that gave me the possibility to appreciate certain things more and to value certain things higher. I mean, society is built up to control the individual in a certain way, but if you go into prison, this is more obvious in your everyday life. Maybe you don't think about that every day when you're living on the outside. I mean, even though that's the case, I think certain concepts such as freedom and liberation and independence became higher values for me during this period. And I think that was just it was no change for me in that way. It was just that it became more clear to me, and that I never want to be a part of society. During this period, I was reminded about it every day. We all have to interact with society in one way or another. I think the difference is in which way you do it and with what attitude you do it. If you're doing your interaction with society in a way which is actually liberating you from the bonds that are holding you back by taking charge of your own position instead of letting yourself become a slave to others, And I was realizing that I was definitely a slave to others, and I was bound to other people that in a way that I realized that I really didn't want this. And I think what's the most important for me is to, at least as far as I can, to choose my own direction and to take back what's mine and to do exactly what I want to do. I think if you step into dissection today, then you will first of all experience a lot of opposition from the outside world, from everybody around you, because dissection is not an accepted band. We are the total outsiders of the metal scene, because I think it would be very truthful to say that we are the most hated band in the world. That's because we represent the opposite to what normal human beings are. At times I've been the only member, and that has been because I was the only hardcore member that could stand all the setbacks and hardships. But I think also I was the driving force from the beginning. That was something that I really wanted to change, not in terms of my own dedication, but I wanted everybody to have this attitude when I formed the new lineup. So I think that I succeeded. The reason why it was Seth and Thomas that became members of Dissection, out of all the people that applied, was that they were standing out. It clicked, It was on a personal level, on a musical level, and also on the level of our vision about, using dissection as a satanic tool to express and explore yourself and your inner darkness. And I think that was something that was obvious right away with both Seth and Thomas. So for me it was no question about it. I think our experience with bass players lately have been the most difficult, probably. And we have learned from the last experience that well, we are a strong three-piece, whatever, and we will just go at it and continue to do what we do. And what happens next, who will be in the band, who will be playing live as a bass player, we'll just see how it goes. We'll see how it comes and take it from there. It's all about who you are, and if it doesn't work out, then there's no other way to go, and I think we're strong enough as a three-piece to, and I feel we are very comfortable with the situation as it is, actually, so we will not put any stress on ourselves to just take anybody into the band. If we would take anybody into the band at this point with our previous experiences, I think that would mean quite a lot. As a band, we have a big advantage because we have a large audience that makes us independent. We don't rely on anybody. We have a large audience, we have a loyal audience, and no matter what, I think Dissection as a name will always remain independent and strong, and that's why we can say fuck off to record labels. We can say fuck you to everybody that don't do it our way now, because we are fed up with being pushed around by record companies and being ripped off and being lied to. That's the reason why we formed our own label, Black Horizon Music, because we have the long and hard experience of the music business. And I think after 16 years as an active band, you have quite a lot of knowledge to tap into and to start your own business and do it your own way. I mean, that wouldn't be possible 16 years ago or 15 or 13 years ago, but today it is, because Dissection is a well-established name. I don't know how to express myself and describe the feelings we all had in the band before the first gig, and also personally, because this was the first concert in many years, and it was a big step for us to return to the scene and to perform again. For me, it was just 1.5 months after my release from prison. So I mean, I was in the middle of just being totally shocked by not waking up in a prison cell every day. So, and on top of that, entering a stage with all these people screaming, and finally being able to play with the band again. So I think it was all a big I think it was just all a big victory. And I think if I would have died that night, I would die happy. And we booked the venue and booked the concert, and suddenly it was sold out, and they moved it to a bigger place. And some weeks before the gig, that was sold out too, so they had to move it to an even bigger venue. So in the end, it was like people coming from all corners of the world, actually. We had people coming from the USA, we had people coming from South America, from all over Europe. It was like totally surreal experience. But it proved also that Dissection was remembered, and that we actually had a lot of support from the fans of the band, and that Dissection was never forgotten, no matter what. I don't think that we had many people that thought this was possible to do, but we didn't give a fuck about that. this was what we wanted to do anyway. So yes, let's do it. And the whole Rebirth of Dissection was like a big march of victory. We were just, going out there as a band, walking into, some strange, almost like walking into a totally new territory. And I think we pulled it off. But for us, this was just big, overwhelming experience, In the first song, we went up on stage and we were totally hyped, and the audience was screaming, and then when you were about to hit the first chord, there was no sound from the guitars, What the fuck is this? It was actually that the guitar tech had forgotten to put on the standby on the amplifier. It was fantastic. It was the best audience we had, so far, in our history as a band at that point, It's I will always remember this concert, by heart. It's I can say that this is one of the highlights, with the atmosphere. Lots of magic in the air, lots of tension, and some electric feeling that you could touch in the air. During the whole tour, I was always hoping that it would never end, because it was such a great experience to be out again and waking up in a tour bus and having the band back together. I think at the time that the tour actually stopped, we were very, very sad to come home to Sweden, because we were thinking, what the fuck are we gonna do now? What the fuck is this? We want to go on. When is the next gig? So, but I think it was a good to come home and take a break after the tour, to digest the whole experience and to also get settled in your own so-called everyday life and get some bits and pieces together, because I was just released after the tour, and also, for example, Seth has moved up from Italy, and I think it was a big change for him too, and we just started to practice the new songs for the new album, and enter the studio 2 months later. I think with a new album coming out, the circle is closed and broken. That's what we're standing before right now. Closing the circle and breaking it. So it's gonna be very interesting. This is the first full-length album in 11 years, as you say, and it's like we're about to enter a new phase of the band, The Rebirth of Dissection was like a victorious return, and remembering the old and playing the old material, and meeting the fans, and after all these years, and to actually proving to the world that Dissection is back. I realized that I'm just a medium for what's coming out, and I think it's at the same time as we are trying to use Dissection as a tool of expressing ourselves, I think we are also ourselves being used as a tool by what we express, and in a way we are just invoking the powers of chaos and see what comes out of it. I think chaos is the primeval source that everything ever came out of, but in a way words can only limit such a concept. I think what we aim at is to release chaos, to express chaos, and to manifest chaos where there is order, and to disrupt the order in any way, act as the opponent of the majority, and I think what we want in the end is to become one with this source.